I'm Jane Velez-Mitchell with JaneUnChained. We are talking from Los Angeles, where I'm at, to Israel. Tell us what super meat is.
Cultured meat means basically growing real meat tissue, external to the animal's body without any animal suffering, without the impact to the planet that the current meat industry has. Just regular meat in a different method. We're actually trying to grow the real thing, to grow a three-dimensional tissue, real meat tissue, something like a chicken breast. It'll be biologically the same, it will have the same texture and taste and juiciness and everything because it'll be completely the same. One of the reasons we don't see a cultured meat product already on our plates in the stores near us is because of the price. 2 years ago, when Professor Post introduced the first burger, the entire world was at awe, but when they heard how much it costs to produce it, over $300,000 there, everyone understood that we're still not there. So that's where we come in. We have the technology that will enable us to produce cultured meat in a commercial way for less than $5 a kilo.
Wow. Now, I want to talk to Ronen Bar because you are a very well-known animal rights activist. I worked with you and interviewed you when I was in Israel. But there are vegans who are upset about this concept. We want to push people away from any kind of animal flesh to a plant-based diet. What would you say to those people, Ronen?
All the estimates are talking about an increase, major increase in meat production worldwide in the coming decades, because we know that third world countries and countries like China and India, etc., are going to eat more meat, unfortunately. So I think that if we're talking about a world who's going to slaughter more animals, kill more animals, torture more animals, we have to find quick solutions, and we have to do everything in our power to stop that, and that including thinking outside of the box, and that includes technology. I think it goes hand in hand with what we are all doing as animal rights activists, which is raising awareness to the tremendous suffering of the animals. So I think we should push people away from meat as it is today, but if we have an biological and identical product which doesn't hurt animals, we should support it with all our hearts if it has the chance, and it has the chance to save billions of animals. So the question is not whether we are very pure with ourselves. The question is, can we help the animals? Is this a thing that can help the animals? And this is why a lot of famous animal rights activists all over the world are supporting this, including activists that are considered radical, like Gary Rofsky or Ohad Cohen from the movie Life According to Ohad. And Sasha Bonjour from 269, which is considered, again, like in the general public, a radical movement. So I think that we need to understand that in order to save the animals, we gotta have two functioning hands. The one hand is in the awareness plane. It raises awareness, it promotes veganism. This is extremely important. Nothing can help the animals without it. But the other hand is in the technological plane, and plant-based meat, and it includes also cultured milk, and of course cultured meat.
My criteria is what will reduce the suffering, the least suffering, and terms like meat, vegan, I'm not arguing for terms. I'm arguing to save animals' lives, whatever saves the most animals.
We're taking the cultured approach, which means we're taking only once a biopsy from a living, breathing chicken without hurting it. It'll be only a one-time biopsy with anesthesia, so it will cause a very little inconvenience, if at all. And after that, we'll be able to continue growing meat products for the entire world from that single biopsy. So I think...
Oh, wait a second. This is important. So you're not talking about having even a group of animals, let's say 100 or 1,000. You're saying from literally the cell of one chicken, or potentially the cell of one cow, or potentially the cell of one pig, you could create this meat that would be biologically identical but would not involve any other animals. In other words, you just need a starter cell.
essentially one chicken can feed the world.
Wow. Well, again, I know it's controversial. I get back to whatever reduces the suffering the most. There are 70 billion land animals raised in horrific conditions and slaughtered every year in this world. And as you mentioned, it's just going to go up if something isn't done. And if this satisfies a portion of the consumer market that is intractable, that will not switch to plant-based food, and I think we've all run into those people who are just completely cold to any entreaties. You can show them the videos of the pigs being castrated without anesthesia. You could show them the videos of chickens being debeaked. You can show them the pictures of cows having their tails cut off. Nothing moves them. They don't care. They don't care about climate change. Animal agriculture is a leading cause of climate change. So I'd say for those people, if there was a way to switch to cultured meat, why don't you? Let's talk about the timeline here, because as you mentioned, it was a couple of years ago, I think it was 2013, that this first lab-grown burger that was, according to published reports, secretly funded by the Google co-founder Sergey Brin, who is obviously a genius and a brilliant mind. He funded that lab-grown burger, according to published reports, but everybody talked about the enormous cost, something, a couple of $100,000 or more dollars to make one burger. How do you plan to achieve economies of scale and get this out to the public in a cost they can afford?
We've joined up with Professor Yaakov Nachmias, who is one of the most renowned tissue engineering experts in the world. And he has a lot of experience and a lot of technologies that he's developed over the years. One of the main issues with cultured meat is the scaling, as you mentioned, as well as the serum, which is the ingredients that are fed to the cells, to the tissue. And currently all the companies are using serum, which is fetal bovine blood, which is obviously something which isn't vegan and not sustainable, and not something anyone would want to consume. And they still haven't found something which is efficient enough and cheap enough to use. We hope that they will, but we have already a solution that enables us not to use serum in our product, which will enable us to make it a lot cheaper. That's one of the reasons. And another reason is the method of production. What we're doing is we're creating our approach is distributed manufacturing production, which means we're going to create small scale or half industrial scale meat growing machines that will mimic perfectly the animal's physiology, enabling us to grow the tissue exactly as it would grow inside the animal's body. It's a closed circuit perfusion system, which means that we're able to utilize the nutrients, which is the medium and the serum and all the ingredients that are fed to the tissue to the maximum potential, exactly like we would within the animal's body, and that enables us to create a very cost-efficient procedure.
It's like taking a seed. The seed is the primary cells taking out of the chicken. This is the one biopsy that we need. Putting it in the right soil. The soil is the machine that mimics the conditions inside the animal body. And after you put the seed in the soil, all you have to do is water it. Give it the ingredients, the nutrients it needs, and it grows. So it's actually doing very little in order to grow this tissue of meat. It's not taking muscle cells and combining them with fat cells and then putting collagen in to make the connective tissue and trying to mix something together which look like the real thing. Just taking the primary cells, like in the little chick, which doesn't have almost no meat, putting it in a machine that mimics animal physiology, and all the rest will happen by its own. There's no telling for sure, but our estimation is in 5 years, we hope to reach the market.
The U.S. government, unfortunately, is controlled by the meat and dairy industry. I think we all know that. They wage war on vegan companies. They try to put Hampton Creek out of business. They have councils that are funded by tax dollars trying to literally undermine these businesses. Unfortunately, I think government's too corrupt to get in and help on this, but I do feel the Sergey Brins of the world, the Mark Zuckerbergs, the people who are at the forefront of change, and Bill Gates. I would go after those people because I think those people have the vision to see what can happen here.